still here waiting. I'm anticipating while they are orchestrating to grant the wish that I am making. No price too great, no distance too far. If I could wish upon a black star, it makes no difference where they are. They'll grant my wish upon a black star.
Hi guys, how you doing? TerraRize here. I've been recently playing this Destiny beta and I thought I'd bring you my thoughts on the good, the bad and the ugly. We'll be talking about three key areas, which will be graphics and effects, the gameplay and value for money. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing I'd like to tip on for the graphics and effects is the use of colour in the game. There's more than just one use of it. You've got the colour of the actual maps and the areas you're in, but also the colour created by the sun in the sky and the real-time lighting effects. You can tell when dusk is setting in and you know when dawn is just by how the warmth appears at the dusk and the freshness appears at the dawn. It's hard to explain. It's something you would have to see when you actually play the game, but for me it was quite impressive to see. The real-time lighting effects, everything you see on the ground, the rocks that you're looking at just now are all cast, the shadows are cast by the sun that's in the sky, which runs on a 30-minute one-day cycle. So in game you're 30 minutes, in the story you're 1 day. The torchlight is very impressive when you're in dark areas and you're with your friends. When your friends turn around and look at you, the flare from the light of the torch looks really impressive as well. About the bad in the graphics area, some of the areas are pretty bland looking. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more vibrancy in certain corridors that you're walking through. For me, they're just fillers for the upcoming mission to try and extend the length of the mission. There's not very many enemies in these corridors. There doesn't seem to be a reason for them. Possibly they're for loading sequences, I don't know. But they look very, very bland, and for me they just look like fillers. Some of the textures on the grass and foliage look a little bit offset. They look strange, a bit stringy, and a bit unrealistic, if that's the right word, in regards to the rest of the game compared to the rest of the game. The guns as well, they look a little bit awful colour-wise. They look really bland. There's nothing special about any gun you pick up. My friend has the same gun as me. It looks the exact same, yet it does more in different things, but I would have expected the guns to have a visual difference other than just the attachment that goes on the top, the scope. The graphical glitch that I had, I don't know whether I mentioned it earlier on. This is something that really annoyed me. It frustrated me because I was stuck down there for a good while anyway. I'll show you the video of it just now. All was happening was I was fighting an enemy, I died, I ended up underneath the map and falling into this big massive water area and dying again and again and again. Now again, that's just a glitch, so this is something that could be fixed, but it is a graphical glitch at that, so it's something that I would hope that gets fixed. The only ugly thing I can say about it would possibly be contradicting what I said about the colour and saying that sometimes it's overused. It's okay using colour for a game and it's really well implemented in this case, but in this specific case, this part of it, using your ability, getting attacked with loads of enemies, it can cause a colour overload on the screen and really confuse you as to where you are and how you're going to handle the next enemy, and as a result you die. So yeah, that's probably the good, the bad and the ugly in terms of graphics and effects. On to the gameplay. The first thing I would mention is that it's very smooth. There's no slowdown whatsoever. As you can see from the videos, there's enemies on screen, there's a lot of flashing of lights going on, effects happening, and there's never any frame rate slowdown or any lag of sort or anything like that. The gameplay again is really quick and smooth, it's fast. There's no like gameplay mechanic slowdown where you're using abilities. It's all fluid and all happening in real time, and it's really good to watch. And the matchmaking system is quite good as well. It's, there's no, you click to join your friends, but it's not like a loading sequence for matchmaking like you would see in Call of Duty. It's just a case of you click your friend, boof, that's you joined in. The playing as a team and the strikes is really good as well. The strikes are a bit annoying, I'll get to that, but working with your friends makes it more enjoyable. There is a thing mentioned by the CEO of Bungie. They're called raids. These are supposed to be specifically designed for people who want a bigger challenge in the game. These are set to be roughly 2 to 3 hours long, which is actually something that I would be quite interested in. So it works with a team of six, but it's not matchmaking six, it's six of your friends. So it has to be people on your friends list. The reason for that is Bungie wants people to communicate, and the only way to get through these would be to communicate. So you have to set yourself up for a big ride here. Make sure you've got all your equipment ready, as big an armor as possible, and really go for the jugular in the game. I expect there to be a lot of good drops as a result. Maybe new weapons, new armor, something that you can put to use right away. As for the bad in the gameplay, the teams you select when you're doing your fire team, it's only a 3-man team, so it's you and two others. Now, previous games you've seen with co-op multiplayer, the standard is 4-player co-op. It's always been mentioned as a 4-player co-op. Sometimes it's two, like that Army of Two game, but majority it's 4-player co-op. This is something that's changed a little bit in this game. The reason they've made it 3 is they want it to be a more concentrated fire team, where there's not too much talking going about, and you can easily communicate within the 3 people or the 2 people that you're working with. The multiplayer PvP is very different for me personally. I find that the enemies that you're fighting against take far too many bullets in order to kill. This is coming from a background of playing Call of Duty where it's 3 or 4 bullets, so it's something I just need to get used to personally. The unbalanced on the unbalancedness, if that's ever a word, on the PvP is quite terrible. I don't know if this was just on the beta or whether this is implemented in the full game, but you had futuristic tanks. I can't remember the specific name for them, that had a very fast fire rate. It was like zero point 0.4 of a second you could keep firing these missiles. Now, that would be okay if the tank moved slow, but this thing fucking spins left and right and can turn really quick. It's basically the multiplayer on one of the maps, the moon. Everybody races for this tank because you know fine well you're going to get a good 5 or 6 kills before you've even taken any damage, let alone being blown up. It takes more than one rocket launcher to kill, so when you shoot it with a rocket launcher, it'll take a chunk of its health, but then you're reloading. By that time, you've already put 3 or 4 bullets, or sorry, 3 or 4 shells into you, so it's not something that I would like to see in the multiplayer. I'd like to see it being a bit more balanced, where you would possibly have one tank in the game, and people fight over the one tank rather than having 2 tanks, one for each team. The ugly for the gameplay side of things would be that the bosses tend to be complete bullet sponges. If you're unfamiliar with that term, it's a term used for RPG players when they're relating to something that has an incredible amount of health, yet not really much firepower, or not varying in their attacks as such. One of the bosses we fought at the end of the game is really only had one big attack, which was a big blue ball it shot at you, which was easily avoidable. Yet when you were attacking him, it was 3 people firing hell into this thing, and it still takes you a good 6 or 7 minutes in order to bring the enemy down. It does get a little bit boring after a while because you're repeating the same thing again and again and getting the same result. I'm a bit worried that the grind in this game will be for nothing. The recent bosses that I fought against and strikes that I did left me with no real loot to speak of. I actually received more loot doing what I'm doing in this video than I did playing the actual missions out and receiving something at the end of it. You get what's called a house banner, which you transfer back at the Cryptarch, and he gives you 200 glimmer for it, which is the currency that's used in the game. 200 glimmer's nothing compared to what you earn for doing the strikes. So that moves us on nicely to what I was going to talk about with the sense of value for money. These raids that are going to be introduced into the game are something that a lot of players won't be able to compete in because they physically won't be skillful enough to be able to do them. It's something that's designed for the hardcore gamer. That adds a little bit of replay value because it's something you're going to want to revisit again and again. As for the casual gamer, this game needs a lot of time put into it in order to get the best results out of it. So you'll find a lot of casual gamers won't enjoy it because they will see themselves as merely revisiting certain areas. On the beta, I have to say I was a little bit frustrated with running through the same corridors in order to execute a completely different mission. But I understand the reasons why that was for. It's really just for testing purposes. So the missions are spread across other planets as well. You have Venus included in there, and you also have an asteroid belt that's around the solar system. They're all included in the actual main game and when it's fully released. I just hope Bungie stick by what they said in their initial E3 conference when they said that they were looking to bring an ever-changing environment to Destiny. They did say through additional content and DLC, so to me it sounds as if the additional content will be free and the DLC will be chargeable. So it'd be nice to see what they apply for free to the game and whether this would increase how long you can play the game for and how you can get your value out of the game, get the value for money out of the game. I also wouldn't mind paying for DLC if enhanced the way you played the game. If you were introducing new characters, playable characters into the game, new areas to explore, new enemies, bigger bosses, things like that, bigger raids and strikes. I won't be happy if the DLC is needed in order to gain access to better armour and more powerful guns. I think that it's punishing players who enjoy playing the game and are actually quite good at it, but don't want to actually pay the extra price. So yeah, I've been rambling on for about 12 minutes now, and I think I've got my points across. If I've missed anything, pop it in the comments. Let me hear your views. What do you think of the game? Will you be getting it on the launch day? If you like my opinions or agree with them or disagree, share it, like it, subscribe it, whatever. Make sure you comment on the boxes below. Let me know what you think of it. It's you that keeps me doing these videos. I know there's only 28 of you, but it's constantly growing, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, so remember guys, like, share, subscribe, let people know about me. I'll be doing loads of Destiny footage when it comes out. I'll be showing you the raids, showing you the strikes, showing you the multiplayer, absolutely everything guys. So thank you very much, and I hope you have a pleasant day. Goodbye.